Have you ever found yourself feeling completely alone, even in relationship, or maybe you have noticed that loneliness drive you to stay in or enter a relationship that aren't good for you? If so, you're not alone. And that's exactly what we are talking about today. Loneliness can be a powerful force. It can push us into relationships even when we see the red flags. We ignore the warning sign because the fear of being alone feels worse than staying with someone who isn't right for us. But this cycle only deepens our loneliness and erodes our self-worth. So, why do we stay in these toxic relationships, even when we know they are bad for us? The truth is, there is often more going beneath the surface, complex psychological factors that make it hard to leave. You know, some people are natural people pleasers or codependent. They drive their self-worth from making others happy, often at their own expense. They stay in bad relationships because they feel responsible for their partner's happiness, or they fear that leaving would hurt the other person's too much. In their minds, their own needs come second, if they are even considered at all. Others may struggle with dependent personality disorder. These individuals often feel they cannot function on their own, so they stay in toxic relationships out of the deep-seated fear of being alone. The idea of independence can be terrifying, making them cling to the relationships even when they are unhealthy. Let's talk about people who are actually borderline. People with borderline personality disorder often experience intense fear of abandonment, leading to turbulent relationships. They may stay in toxic situations because the emotional intensity feels very similar, or because they're afraid that leaving would confirm their deepest fear of being unlovable or alone. And there are people with low self-esteem or deep fear of rejection. They stay because they believe that they don't deserve better, or they think no one else would want them. They willing to tolerate mistreatment because they're convinced it's the best thing they can get. We talk about why some people stay in toxic relationships, whether it's due to the being a people pleaser, codependency, low self-esteem, or fear of rejection. But before we can break free from this cycle, we need to start with the most important step, and it's self-awareness. You know, sometimes you have to be brutally honest with yourself. You know, understanding that sometimes the problem isn't just the other person, that this is you. This is you, that you keep falling into these types of relationships that they treat you like a shit, you know? And how you can stop this dynamic and how you can stop this cycle. I'm not saying you have to blame yourself, but you have to stop playing the victim card sometimes. You have to play your own role in your life. The best thing you can do for yourself is to accept who you are, accept your flaws, accept your mistakes, and acknowledge it. Acknowledge your insecurities, your fears, and your past mistakes without judging yourself. It's about understanding that these don't define your worth, and they're just the parts of your journey. You know, the next thing you need to do is to start to loving yourself and know that it's worth it. You know, it's easy to say, but it's very hard to do actually. But love yourself isn't about thinking you're perfect. It's about treating yourself with the same kindness and respect that you would offer to someone you care. One powerful way to practice self-love is by setting boundaries. Boundaries aren't about keeping people out. They are about protecting your well-being. If you're not sure how to start, I've made a video specifically on how to set boundaries, and that you can watch it right after this one. Write things down can very helpful. For example, I had a fear of abandonment, and it was all overwhelming. So I start to writing the worst case scenario. What the worst thing that could happen? Self-love is also means that you have to learn to be comfortable with yourself. That even when you're alone, to be love yourself and realize that your worth isn't dependent on someone else's approval, and you deserve a lot better. And you need a relationship that is uplift you, make you feel good about yourself, and not actually drain you. It makes you feel powerful in the relationship. You know, breaking free from toxic relationships starts with breaking free from the patterns that keep us stuck, by becoming aware of our own issues and accepting ourselves. And building a self-love, we can stop the cycle of loneliness and toxicity. It's a journey, but that's worth taking, because at the end of the day, you deserve to be happy, healthy, whether you are in relationship or not. Thank you for watching it. If this video resonated with you, please give it a thumbs up, share it with someone who might need to hear this, and don't forget to subscribe for more content on relationship and personal growth. And don't forget to check out the video on setting boundaries.